Morphling's mana, he's not going to be able to morph strength at all. And you've got the Lion to drain on top of that. You've got the Nyx with mana burn. This is not an easy morph game for Natsumi or Yopaj, depending on who wants to play it. Not going to be an easy time at all. You're going to have to find a way to mitigate that. Maybe a BKB rush helps you out here, but it's tough. And you don't have good lockdown for the AM. You don't have good lockdown for the Ember. So Lilgun has so much leeway to jump in and out to weave themselves in these fights, whereas Neon don't really have the hold to fix that issue. Maybe their last pick helps out. I think you'd expect that form of control from your off lane. Darkseer's not going to apply it, so I'm not sure what they can do to fix that. Like, on the safe lane or mid, you don't have too many options for AoE control left. Maybe they could play their pick-off game really well, just constantly play around with a hook shot and with the Iron Shell on top of the Clockwork along with the Ice Blast follow-up. That could be one way to pin these heroes down, or at least kill them off fast. But there is definitely a control issue here for Neon and Lilgun. This draft looks really well developed. This is not the kind of cheese strat you'd expect from Lilgun. This is just a very straightforward, well thought out of draft, and I think we've already seen they can execute these much more normal drafts really well as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm wondering where this Morphling's going, though. That's kind of my question right now. Is are they running it in the safe lane? Are they going to run it in the mid lane? I think Natsumi might take it himself in the safe lane and maybe give Yopaj a bit more of a space creator. Now, in terms of those space creators, John, I'm thinking Puck right now for OB.Neon. It doesn't appear to have been banned out. You're up against an AM, you're up against an Ember. Sure, you're still going into the Nyx Assassin, who can cause a lot of problems for that Puck, not to mention the Lion, and hell, even the Ember with the chains. But if you're confident in your ability to outplay the enemy team, I think that the Dream Coil and the Silence is going to have a lot of effect here up against Lilgun in this game 3. Apart from that, though, do you have any other mid laners you think would suit the draft here for OB.Neon?
Doesn't suit the draft, but I can see them going for a Wind Ranger. Just to have Morphling Wind Ranger on hand. You know, we've seen that from TNC.
Of course.
And we know Yopaj loves the hero. Every single time Neon has something on the line, they go with Wind Ranger. I wouldn't be surprised if they pick that. Not the best hero in this case. I don't think it's a good hero in this lineup at all, but if it's not what you mentioned, then I can only see the Wind Ranger coming true. So we'll see if OB.Neon feel cheeky. Of course, elimination on the line. You don't want to drop out of this tournament, so it might not be the Wind Ranger game. Lilgun, looking like they're lacking an offlaner. Maybe get some control going for themselves as well. They've got the option for the Tide if they want to. Give them some more team fight here. Can be pretty potent. That's the only real long cooldown they'd have to play around. Are taking their time in this pick, though. So we'll see what they do consider in the end, but there's nothing really specific for Lilgun. Like, they've already got so much control with their Nyx, Ember, and Lion. You have a lot of leeway here in how to close out. I'd say just take a Tide. Either, do they have the option for Centaur? Could go Centaur as well if they wanted to. Either one would help your cause, and again, you don't have the best of lockdown on Neon, so a Centaur can greatly punish that. Like, Vac Wall comes out, Stampede out, nothing happens.
We'll go for the Tide as the last pick, so nice kind of team fight here for Lilgun. Now you've got the Ravage up. Not as much team fight for OB.Neon, I might add. Not so much control. You're kind of relying on that Clockwork quite a bit in conjunction with, say, the vacuum of the Darkseer, which is why I still go back to that Puck. I do think you need something to add to the team fight of OB.Neon. I know the Wind Ranger Morphling would be pretty fun to watch, as it always is. And you never know, John, they might do it. Because like you said, they choose it every time. Third game, you know, something's on the line for OB.Neon. They always go for it, but no. This time, into the Ricky, interestingly enough.
That's one way to combo with your Darkseer. Vac Wall plus Tricks of the Trades is great. You still don't have lockdown, but you've got a good silence. So you can kind of lock in the AM. The AM in particular won't enjoy that. The supports will need Force Staves here to help their cores out. I think that's probably the build-up we're going to have to expect here for the Nyx and the Lion, although the Lion should still prioritize the Blink. Rather interesting way to close out. I feel like Neon's draft is still pretty shaky, despite having the Ricky answer. It is Yopaj mid-Morphling here as well. So we'll see how Natsumi itemizes. You know, usual build-up is either Diffusal Rush, or to Rate Bands, Orb of Corrosion, Diffusal. You might be able to opt for Battle Fury here if you want to keep that pace up against the AM, but that also runs the risk of playing really slow and having the Morphling and Ricky farm, so you have to be careful with that farm distribution. For Lilgun, as mentioned, really good team fight, lots of really good stunts. Ravage, Earth Spike, Impale, even the chains from the Ember. They've got the Hex on hand, they've got Mana Burn on Nyx, Mana Drain online, and Burn on AM as well. So Morphling, if Yopaj is caught out, won't have mana to strength morph. So have to really watch your spacing. It's a harder draft to pull off for Neon. I think Lilgun definitely have the better draft here.
Well, answering the question without me even asking. Look at you, johnxfire. There you go. You've upped your game today. Lilgun apparently with the better draft going into game number 3. According to real life John, not anime John, of course. We've gotten rid of him. He's dead now. Hopefully we'll always be dead, John, because it's anime, you know?
Oh, God. You know, I was watching the animator. Of course, everyone knows what happened with the Secret Enigma series. In that filler time, they did bring out the VTube. Man, they brought out Courier-kun, or Courier-kun, or whatever. And that was a nightmare. I was like, oh my God, no, please stop. That was an actual nightmare. Slack's voicing it as well. That was horrendously beautiful. But not something I'd want to experience again, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to Slacks, by the way. I know people have already brought it up, but the guy lost a lot of weight out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine what happens when you have a baby, you just don't sleep anymore.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Still,
just
I
don't
mean,
have a
props
life.
to
The
guy.
baby sucks the life out of you, you know?
Yeah.
He's doing fantastic. I love watching his cats. Very silly. I love the guy. Hopefully,
No, I mean,
we
don't say
hear
that,
more
John.
from him soon.
It pisses me off a little bit that he's doing play-by-play now. So, you know, more competition for us. Not very good at all. CTM, he's going to get caught out. He'll be all right, though. Going back to my point,
have
by
a
the way.
ward location.
Don't worry about the ward, John. Going back to my initial point. Slacks is the only one that can do play-by-play, make a literal joke out of it, and get away with it. We can't do that, John.
You know, when I was watching, I got very big vibes for, you know, Cyclops. It felt like this is the English translation of a Cyclops cast, and it was nice, you know? Something different at the very least.
Well, CTM, he's back in. Hishki, you've got to be careful. He's got the Iron Shell going. He'll back off, CTM. He's going to walk back for a reset in the fountain. Just TP his way back up to the top lane. Also, he'll be back to join Raging Potato. And I've got to say, this could be a very tough time for at least Ace 12, right? Because this Clockwork, already a bit of a counter towards the Lion throughout the whole stage of the game. You add an Iron Shell to that, even at level 1, it's going to be quite a painful experience. So for now, Lilgun are going to run a bit of a tri-lane. They're going to let the Tide run the solo off lane. And this might be the way to play it. Because honestly, if they had not done this, CTM would just destroy the Lion. In fact, Hishki, he tried to TP on the low ground. It's going to be cancelled off. He has to run back down to the bot lane. And Ace 12, he's going to be left alone to suffer. Look at this, John.
Oh yeah, no fun for Ace 12. The boots up on CTM allows him to just win out the runs as well. You only have the Windlace on Ace 12. So, gotta watch that spacing. Still, this is space out for X123. He's not the one being focused. He's fine with it. And I think if your AM's fine, you're happy enough on line.
nice
Although you don't want the first blood here.
Oh, nice Earth Spike. Surge is there, CTM. He's going to die for this. He wants the first blood. He will get it. Can he avoid giving a kill away to 1-2-3? Not quite. But you got the first blood gold. That's going to mean he could probably just buy out his Tranquils if he wants. It's going to be a nice start for that pos for Clockwork. Still, the other lanes, though. You've got your Page in the mid lane on that Morphling up against Sanctity on the Ember. This time around, Morph vs Ember should still be a little bit more favored towards the Morph because you have such high base damage. It looks like your Page is going to go into the bottle as well. And as you know, John, you can just kind of Agimorph all the way. Get a full kind of health refill with that bottle. And with all the runes that do spawn up, you're just kind of constantly healthy if you are this Morphling.
Yeah, it's really nice down mid. Feels really good. You don't need to expand too many bottle charges as well. Heck, even just a raw water rune gives you so much when you're full agi. So have to watch that. Sanctity is getting some decent harassment out, but the right-click damage from Yopaj, your shield just does not block it.
Hishki bottom lane does end up dropping. Natsumi gets the kill, and now Marvel still trying to play around the Kraken Shell. It'll purge off the cold feet, but oh, never mind. I thought the Tide salved, but it was actually Natsumi. I was gonna say that would be rather unfortunate, but Marvel will be able to salve up behind the tree line and just get back to work.
This is where that initial tri-lane start really hurts Hishki. He couldn't TP in because it was cancelled. He's still level 1. Hits 2 now. But this is a dual melee lane into a Riki and AA. The Riki's very slippery, hard to lock down. So despite being a melee versus melee lane for the Tide, they can't really control it too well. Natsumi's having pretty much free farm down here. Up top, it's rough as well. Like, you see that kill on Ace. X123 just getting dived under his tower. Everything working out for Neon early on here.
I'm telling you, John, the clockwork dream is to have a squishy +5 like a lion that can't escape. There's no way you can really abuse this lane as a lion. Ace 12, he's not even going to TP back up top. He's going to fill the bottle of Sanctity. He'll take his time to make his way back up towards the top lane. Because he knows, as soon as he shows his face, CTM's going to chase him down with an Iron Shell, and there's just nothing he can do about it. In fact, CTM, he went and got a bottle of his own now. So he could just keep refilling that himself and securing the runes along with Yopaj. And look at this, CTM, he doesn't have the Iron Shell, still has level 1 battery assault, but he could just annoy Ace 12. Luckily for Ace 12, he did manage to take the other water rune away before CTM was able to pick it up.
That blocks off Sanctity's own bottle refill. He still has 2 charges, so it's not too bad. But, you know, you'd want that option to hand it over to your Ember. Your Pause just building up on this mid. Not too far ahead in terms of CS, just about 5 denies up. That would give you that level advantage. And just having more levels on the Ember always feels great, although up top...
Yeah, just diving onto X123. Ace 12 gets spotted, gets chased down immediately. You know, the worst part is, John, he got the first blood gold, so he got such an early Tranquils that he's just never going to have to leave now. In fact, 1, 2, 3. Dies to a creep with an Iron Shell. That's not a good feeling.
No, this is going really slow for Lilgun, and that's something to expect with the AM. AM +1, no matter who it is not an aggressive lane. The response from Neon is shaping up nicely, and their initial start's a lot better than you'd expect. They've not been able to slow down Natsumi, so Natsumi's free farming bot. Marvel is super behind on this Tide. 13-1 in terms of CS compared to the 31-7 from Natsumi. Heck, even compared to Raging Potato at 30-1 as well. Not good. This means your Tide and your AIM are going to be dipping into jungle resources to catch up. You might be able to play around once you hit that level 6 spike on the Tide, but he doesn't have a Soul Ring yet. He doesn't have anything to refill his mana, so it's a bit of a tough call. The Soul Ring is flying out, but I don't know if you can even try to commit and still find a kill on Natsumi.
Oh, look at that. I'm just watching Ace 12 run. It's just such a sad affair for Ace 12 right now. Like, what could he do? He's stuck at level 3 on the Lion. He can't really help out X123. You just can't do anything in the safe lane. X123, he's trying his best to get his farm up, but there's CTM with the surge up now. After Ace 12, he will not be able to lock him in, but he's just going to dive. He's just diving the tier 1 tower. There's your cogs out now, and Ace 12, he's gone. Hex or no Hex, it just doesn't matter.
It's a rough time. I think at this point, you know, you'd be better served stacking up the jungle, maybe trying to build up something for X123 to farm.
Look at this.
He has to be cautious.
Blink away, sir. Jesus Christ. It's a lot of damage out. Bottom lane, Marvel's going to be in danger now. Cold Feet. Not going to freeze. Marvel just going to have to TP away all the way back to the fountain.
It's a toughie. Lilgun, it looks like they're going to have to depend on Sanctity to give them some mid-game momentum. And at the least, your Ember lane's the one that's kind of going all right. Although I say that, he's lagging behind an actual net worth right now. Does have level 7 up. So you could maybe look for a bit of a rotation, play around with the spirits. They are collapsing onto Yopaj.
They are. Maybe they can kill him off. They've got the perma-stuns out. No strength morph, and they'll get him. Nice setup there by Ace. Ishiki coming in from the backside, and if you can't deal with the other side lanes, you may as well just try to win out the mid lane. That's exactly what's happening right now for Lilgun. However, top lane, X123,
Oh god, why?
I tested your metal.
what can you do, Johnny? He's just a sitting duck. He's got to do something. Hishki's going to come in and try and get a trade, but I don't think this is a very good idea. They're both going to die.
Damn it.
They are both going to die here if they're not careful. There goes one. Ace 12, he might be able to get away, but no, Natsumi with the long-range blink strike is going to be able to close the gap. No Iron Shell necessary for Natsumi. Just a surge will do him. Double kill out for the safe lane of OB.Neon. And that was a very desperate kind of chase to kill off Raging Potato. Definitely not very worthwhile.
No, they're throwing everything at the wall just to try and find something that sticks. They do manage to get the lane swap, so X123 is on the bot lane, getting that push in with his Tide. But Marvel doesn't have much to offer as well. No Vanguard, no Hood of Defiance up yet. As the Soul Ring, they will get the push with the Siege Creep, so this could give them some space in the bot lane to at least secure some farm for the AM, but the Battle Fury is still a long way off. And with how far ahead OB.Neon is on Natsumi and Yopaj's farm, this kind of greedier start is actually going to be enabled because they haven't been slowed down from the laning phase. They've only got a 1k lead, but they are clumping up top on Marvel.
Here we go again. Marvel, he's there to defend the top tier 1 tower. Can he survive? He's looking for that Ravage. He'll get it off, but it's not great. But oh, the Impel is. The follow-up is out. CTM, the first to drop his Sanctity. Might be able to find Natsumi, or maybe he goes down himself, and he does. They will get them with the Iron Shell Ricky. They will just chase them down. Ace 12 is gone. Hishki, he is just surrounded. This is truly a disgusting draft from OB.Neon.
It really is, and you know, I was pointing out that the draft might have lacked some control on OB.Neon. You don't need control when they all die. You don't need any stuns when everyone just drops dead, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're applying early pressure with a Ricky, playing with those Iron Shells, getting every single thing they'd want, while also still getting a ton of farm from Yopaj, who's basically just left alone. Natsumi's taking that more active role in the Ricky. He's making space. The Diffusal's only 2 parts away, and once that's up, you really won't be able to run, especially the AM. Like, AM doesn't have a huge mana pool. Once you drain that over, don't give him the option to blink. X123 is just kind of stuck there, and you're going to be able to really start to slow down this progression. He's still 2 parts away from the full Battle Fury. He does have the bot jungle to play with the tier 1 gone. He needs to really temper his aggression and just rely on his team to buy that space out for the AM to get big.
Top lane. Oh, Hishki, he's gone. I was about to say, I do like the fact that you had the Soul Ring build up on CTM, right? Because he's going to have so much mana drained by X123 that the Soul Ring just makes enough sense to have the mana to get some spells off. And I was just watching CTM, he just runs up to X123 in man fights. Just no respect at all for the anti-mage. Forces him away from the bottom lane. That's going to be a little bit demoralizing for X123. Just can't really man fight a Clockwork.
Doesn't really have much to leverage on Clock. AM's just one of those heroes that doesn't feel great early on. Still needs a lot of items to feel good. Up lane is just completely invaded now by OB.Neon. Natsumi just dancing around. He's only lacking 200 gold for the Diffusal, and they could set up here.
The double Iron Shells are here. Wall dropped, Marvel. Hey, he's going to try. I don't think it's going to really work out for him, though. He does drop Hishki, trying to get an Impale off. Meanwhile, Sanctity going to come in from the backside to try and go after Raging. Chains end up missing as well. They can't lock him in. They will just run now. Surge is out on Natsumi to allow him to get away, but maybe, just maybe, they can get Raging. But here comes Natsumi again with the smoke screen. He's going to make it harder for him. They might be able to try and turn here as Sanctity. He's dropping fairly low now. Tricks the trade out. Remnant towards the right. Natsumi dropping low himself. Hishki does land the Impel. It does get the kill. We'll get a nice kill for their trouble. In the meantime, the mid-tier 1 tower was being forced in by Yopaj, who we haven't really talked about whatsoever. But he's been free farming up this whole time. And is still top of the net worth board.
It's down to the fact that Natsumi's the space maker here. He's taking that role, he's buying the space out. Yopaj is the big win condition. Has the Yasha up, and White to follow. And Lilgun, they're kind of doing the same thing with X123. He's still lagging behind, but not that much behind. 200 gold behind Natsumi's really, considering that start, pretty darn good. I think you'd be pretty satisfied with what X123 is doing right now. Once the full Battle Fury is up, the farm will ramp up. Then he just works onto the Manta style, and you feel a lot nicer. You will need to make some space out for your Ember and Tide to also progress a bit, as you have lagged behind. The Orb of Corrosion up for Sanctity, Drums to follow. Still a ways off from that. The Force Staff from Marvel gonna be a while as well. About 1,000 gold away from that. That will help with the smoke screen. So some answers are flying true. Lilgun, it just needs more time.
Everyone's still calmly farming up here. 4K net worth lead does remain for OB.Neon. Sanctity not having the best time this game. We really haven't seen much out of him. Big smoke up now from OB.Neon. They want to try and abuse the Diffusal Blade of Natsumi. Natsumi, he's gonna go on a solo mission. He is underneath the sentry, but it probably won't matter because he's got the smoke screen to lock down Ace, and that'll be a nice, easy Lion Killers. Who else have they found? So they try to go after the Ember with the hook shot. They will lose Genuel in the process, but they've got Hishki to try and trade. Marvel, he is around to help out, but it's probably not going to be enough, and yeah, they'll just leave Hishki to die. Now they go for more. Natsumi forcing the Remnant back the other way, right into the loving arms of Yopaj. He had no choice. He goes one way or the other. He tried to run, but they were waiting.
Yeah, really calculated from Neon. 17-5. This looks like game 2 flipped around here, Mike. It's just a solid performance this time from Neon and Lilgun. It's starting to lag behind. Lose the mid-tier 1. Their jungle is going to be invaded shortly, and CTM's just so far forward.
Now CTM, he doesn't care. He's a tanky boy right now. It's the Ice Blast. He's going to fly through. Marvel gets a nice Ravage off onto 3 heroes with the Impel follow-up, the back, the wall, everything being thrown by Lilgun just for the possible clockwork. They will get him, but they lose Marvel in the process. It's now Sanctity's going to come in. X123, he'll try to go for a fight. Remnants forward. A big mana void. Genuel, he will drop after they go Ragey Potato. He'll surge away as now Natsumi's back in. After the Ember, they do get the kill into Sanctity, but a nice Earth Spike and Impale out onto Yopaj and Natsumi. They'll get the Morphling. Natsumi's not done though. He will kill off X123 onto Ace 12. He's out of mana, but he's got an Iron Shell, and that'll do him more than enough. Lilgun, they're finding some decent pickoffs, but it's just costing them way too much to get it done.
Yeah, it's real rough. They are overcommitting for this. They're not really getting the initiations they'd want. They're reacting to Neon's movements, and it looks good sometimes, but the hook. CTM.
No, Ice Blast is still gonna fly through. Not gonna lead to a kill though. Hishki will be just fine. Looks like Marvel was almost caught out there by Natsumi, but gets back to the tier 2 tower, and he'll remain safe as well. Now without the hook shot, they might just try to relax for a bit. Wait for CTM to have that initiation back up. But they control majority of the map anyway. Like it's going to be very hard for X123 to try and actually farm up on this anti-mage. If this is how the game's going to go, he really just doesn't have the space at all.
And they're trying. They're holding mid. They're forcing a response, trying to force the fights out. But it's tricky. He's got some space in the upper jungle. It looks like OB.Neon might want to force something to happen down mid. They do have Ravage, just not quite up. Half a minute. So no big AoE control for Lilgun. They're going to have to rely on the line and Nyx, but they're kind of disjointed. If OB.Neon jumps now, it could be big.
Could be. Natsumi. Surged up, gonna rush forward, and he's gonna run right into Sanctity, but there was a sentry there. Chains out and the Remnant away will mean that Sanctity will be alright. However, X123 gonna avoid being scouted out by CTM. They are still in danger. They are still posturing. Hishki gonna run right past Natsumi. Yopaj gonna spot out X123, and he wants to start a fight. Onto the cliff they go. Is there a hook shot? Not quite. Vacuum was close. The CTM, he was a bit too far away, and that level 1 hookshot wouldn't have landed had he tried.
It's a nice slip away there from X123, but he still needs more time to farm. And every single time he's chased around, it's time he's not fully farming, although... Ooh.
What they found now, towards the north, it looks like they have got the Lion. Natsumi will take care of that. A nice Cox pushback from CTM to make sure there was no getting away from Ace. Onto another Marvel. Well, they still had battery assault there for CTM. Natsumi gonna jump in. 4-star will save the day for now. A big Ravage out. Can they turn though? I don't believe so. They don't have any damage. So Marvel, he's gone back to try and tank the gank, but now the Ravage, it can't lead to anything because you don't have a farmed Ember and you don't have a farmed AM.
Yeah, and they kind of stack their stuns as well. You need to communicate these initiations better. At their least, try to maximize your Ravage and Earth Spike and Impale timings. With those kills, it opens up the Roche here. Yopaj already getting started, and it's not going to take too long. Aegis on the deck. It's going to secure second life for Yopaj, keep him safe. He's going to be able to commit much further up front. The BKB is coming out soon for Natsumi. He's just playing poke with X123. He just can't even trade. Smoke screen flies out. AM has to run. He just doesn't have free lanes.
Oh, Yopaj lose the Aegis. Nice setup there from Hishki. They get something. Maybe a little bit overly confident there in that farming position there for Yopaj without a sentry around, but I suppose it won't really matter too much. This means he's not going to feel quite as safe in the team fights, but I mean, quite frankly, they haven't really struggled with team fights at all yet. DTM, no hook shot up, but they see Ace 12. X is there, but the back, not going to be enough. OB.Neon, go back to the drawing board.
They're still really controlling this triangle. They have kind of given up the top jungle, but they're cleaning out the big camps, they're cleaning out the ancients, they're lining up for that push in mid. Ravage is still 40 seconds away. Neon should be looking for a fight now if they want to take it. As long as that control is missing from Lilgun, you're really not scared. BKB all finished up in Natsumi, so all that control on your Nyx and Lions is also not a factor now.
Hishki? Hook shot, oh, it's blocked. Unfortunate. They still know he's around somewhere, but there's no dust as far as I can tell. Genuel with the only dust available, and it wasn't in range. Well, that's happening. Bot lane, Yopaj, he gets the bottom tier 1 tower, but now, try to kill the Morphling. He'll turn around with the blink now and just get the hell out of there.
Yeah, no problems for him. Forces a 4-man rotation to try and stop him. So they're not quite farming up in that time. Yopaj gets to still steadily build up. Scotty, just about 1,300, 1,400 gold off. Once you've got that up, the stats will help him survive the burst from Hishki, and of course the added health reduction or health regen reduction is always going to be good, and stopping the AM from trying to heal up, stopping the Tide from feeling so tanky as well. And these are all major item spikes for OB.Neon that's about to come out. 7k lead for them. Lilgun 23-8. Still not finding their space on this game. They do have the 4-staff on Marvel, so they can kind of get themselves out of the smoke screen at the least. BKB for Sanctity almost up. Perhaps with that BKB up on the Ember, you can take a few more of these fights. Until then, Neon's just going to work this map and look for more objectives to take.
Hey, Natsumi. Did he? Oh, he's going to be caught out. Smoke screen's there. Can they lock him down long enough? No, he's going to be fine. In fact, he's going to turn now. He's losing a lot of mana, and now he has no mana. But Natsumi doesn't really realize it. He couldn't remnant away. It looks like he wasn't aware of how low the mana pool was. Still Neon. They won't mind too much because they can just go straight back up to that top tier 2. They'll get that for free. They'll get an outpost for themselves now. Just continue controlling the map. Looks like OB.Neon grouping up again. Even give a gem over to Natsumi so he just can make sure that he's not underneath the sentry. Yeah, a bit of a smoke right behind Natsumi. Where are they going? Nice scan out.
For enemies. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They're going to give the vision. Hook shot, very nice from CTM. Right through the middle. Marvel, he's going to avoid the Ice Blast, but he's still in big trouble. In fact, the backlines there are in even bigger troubles. Natsumi is there, along with Raging. Ishiki, yeah, he's not going to survive Natsumi's damage output. OB.Neon, mid-tier 2 now gone. The map just continuing to get smaller and smaller. They might even go high ground. Looks like they will. Chains. Oh, they've got him, Natsumi. He'll force the BKB out.
You're at a tough spot here. Once the Tide respawns, at least you'll have Ravage. You're trying to split push with your AM. Manta style, it's up. At least for X1, 2, 3, it's just not enough. Tier 3 faults. Racks are still relatively safe, and it looks like Neon will respect the team fight potential with Ravage, with Earth Spike, with Impale. They will just settle with a tier 3. Go back, and they have so much more farm to take anyway. Natsumi, I believe, just finishes up a Yasha flying out. So more damage on Ricky into the Manta soon. Just going to help against all the dust and all the ways of finding this Ricky. It's going to be a lot tougher there for Lilgun. They do smoke up, and they've got that big Ravage, but they kind of show it.
That they do. ATM, he's got the hook shot. Hishki quickly into the Vendetta. Surge up Natsumi. He still has the gem, so he'll be able to spot out Hishki if he does run into him, and now he does. Smoke screen there. Back onto the high ground, and here we go. They just put him in the blender. They're going to get down, but it doesn't matter. The Ravage not really going to do too much either. They've already lost Ace. They will lose Marvel on the Tide. They might even lose Hishki here as Natsumi just clinks right on top. Sanctity, he might be alright, but Yopaj, he's not done yet. Does end up missing the chains. But it's into the mid-racks. They can't stop them.
They can't. Like that was their best shot. Maybe trying to get a Ravage stacking the stuns. Now, AM can't defend, Ember can't defend solo. Respawns are short, so they should be up for the next set of racks, but no Ravage makes this fight really hard for Lilgun, and OB.Neon know that. They just go up top, clear it out. They can't get Megas because the tier 2 bot still stands, but you're going to be 2 racks down at least here for Lilgun. That's going to make it a lot harder to equalize these lanes, to step outside your base and try to split push yourself.
That Rax, it's going to eventually drop if they don't do something about it. Natsumi, he's in. Smokescreen is quite nice. Chains around. He's still rooted up. Hookshot, though, not going to land. The 4 stuff will save. Raxus is still in danger, however. It still is not safe. Eventually, OB.Neon, they've had enough. Or have they? Chains out. Down a couple, but there's Natsumi right back in after the Nyx, but the 4 stuff's gonna save. Still Natsumi, not done. We'll go after Ace 12. We'll get the Lion Kill again. There's no buyback available on him, so they might be able to just continue fighting. Remnants forward, Sanctity. I'm not sure about this one. He'll try to Remnant back out. They could jump in after him. They'll try, but what a vacuum. Right into the wall onto 3. This is looking so darn bad for Lilgun. As Hishki about to drop, they will lose Marvel. And now the hook shot in from CTM into the Ice Blast. X1, 2, 3. He'll take it. He may not die, but there's an extra rocket flare. Tricks the trade in. They're going to dive the fountain for this, and they will get all of them.
God.
An ultra kill for Natsumi. Can we get a rampage? Not before they call GG. They have had enough. OB.Neon, they will be able to proceed. And unfortunately, Lilgun will have to leave the tournament. Unfortunate stuff indeed, but OB.Neon, they were just the better team today.
Yeah, they played spectacularly well. Game 1 was a strong showing from Neon. In Game 2, Lilgun managed to bounce back in. Neon were trying some different stuff in the draft. Didn't pay off. They got some good punishment. But I think for Lilgun, closing out with the AM, not the call. They needed a faster core. Took way too long to farm up. Had a really terrible lane. X123 just could not sit back and farm. Just going back to that Dark Seer Clockwork combo. Obnoxious. It's a classic C combination, of course. And just way too hard to play against. So unfortunate for Lilgun, that is the end of their journey. OB.Neon will be able to move on, and I believe that does mean they will play against who do they have lined up? Should be. Let me double check. It was Galaxy Racer, right?
I
Omega?
believe so.
Was it Omega? Yeah, Galaxy Racer. So should be Neon versus Galaxy Racer there. That will be interesting to watch. Should be a fairly close matchup. The tournament's starting to wind down. Playoffs are starting to tighten up. So that A game has to come out from every single team. We'll see if that does come out in the next series in the next few days.
It should be very, very interesting to watch how this does all play out. As OB.Neon, they're not really the kind of team you would have expected to be in the lower bracket. So for all these other teams that are in the lower bracket, they're going to have to kind of go through these guys. And well, for Galaxy Racer, I suppose they did want Neon, did they not? If I remember correctly in the interview,
Yeah.
that's who they asked for. So they're getting what they asked for. They've got the harder team, you'd have to argue. Obviously, they didn't really want to deal with the cheese of Lilgun, they were saying. I believe it was In Your Dream telling us he really doesn't like playing against cheese drafts. So he would have preferred OB.Neon. He's got what he wished for. And that should be a pretty hype matchup tomorrow. Obviously, both teams looking really darn nice. Should be a pretty aggressive kind of matchup, I think, between OB.Neon and the side of GXR. Can't wait to see it. By the way, John, do we have anyone for an interview?
I don't think we do. OB.Neon have a series in 20 minutes, so I think we haven't asked them for one because, well, they've got to rush off. And that still leaves the question, in that series, in that tournament, is CTM still playing or play hard back? Right? Like, he needs a break. The guy doesn't want to be stressed out, medical condition.
Of course.
So, I don't know, all the best to them going forward. But yeah, probably no interview. Talk a bit about tomorrow, not just, of course, Galaxy Racer and Neon. We've got the upper bracket final lined up. Motivate Trust versus Boom Esports. That one is pretty hype. That Motivate Trust, every single time we talk to Fearless, he's just so confident. They're so confident, but so humble as well. They're saying, they have a lot to improve. Their early game's been a bit weak when they talked about their matchup last time against Galaxy Racer. So we'll see what kind of Motivate Trust we get. Boom, they're confident too. Dreamo Cell was very, very hyped up about how they were doing. Of course, also very humble about what to expect. So should be a pretty...
He called us fools, John. He called us fools. Well, he called me a fool, actually, because I'm the one who asked if it was FBC. Never making that mistake again. But no, I do agree that should be a pretty hype matchup tomorrow. The upper bracket finals, and of course after that we've got Galaxy Racer vs OB.Neon in the lower bracket round of 3. A very hype day indeed, Jonathan. We'll have one grand finalist already tomorrow, and then we'll have the lower bracket final decided as to which teams are going to be involved in that. So it should be very exciting indeed. Now, considering we don't have a winner's interview, unfortunately, as you said, OB.Neon, they've got to play again in 20 minutes and it's something else, I suppose. Got to give our quick shout-outs, of course, to the lovely sponsors we do have. Number one, LootBet, of course. For any new users, you can get a 100% bonus on your first deposit, up to 9,000 pesos. Use the code PRO or PRO on LootBet, and existing users can also find more promotions when they do visit LootBet. So do please check it out. And John, we do have another lovely sponsor, which you haven't had the pleasure of tasting it quite yet, but I have. So I want to hear what you have to say about it, sir.
I'm looking forward to receiving that case, but of course our other sponsor is Mate Mate. Mate Mate, a natural energy drink, is caffeine reimagined. Try Mate Mate today and get more day, more night out of it. Mate Mate is available at all 7-Elevens throughout Asia, or you can click on the banner below and drop an order there. They should be able to deliver. And we've got a giveaway from Mate Mate, so make sure you join in. To join, just type !Mate Mate. This will run for 10 minutes after the series ends. So right at the moment when I say it, you've got 10 minutes to enter !Mate Mate. Join in. 10 winners per day, 2 cases each winner. All of Asia and Oceania can join in. So make sure you put those entries up and keep your whispers open. Keep your DMs open on Twitch so the moderators can reach out to the winners.
They will reach out to you right now. So once they've got the giveaway, once they've got the contestants in the giveaway, they will probably message you probably a few minutes afterwards. So do keep an eye out on the Twitch messages, which I saw somebody earlier asking, how do I check my whispers? On Twitch, if somebody sends you a message and they're telling you you've won, you probably want to respond to them so we can get those cases out to you, and you can enjoy mate mate like I've had the pleasure of doing over the past couple days. And unfortunately, John hasn't, but I'm pretty sure you're going to get it very soon, sir, because I know mate mate, they have sent them out ASAP. They wanted us both to be able to experience it throughout the Loopbet Pro Series, but maybe tomorrow, John, you'll get a knock on the door with a delivery man getting you that case of beautiful mate mate that you can try. Again, it is tea-based, by the way, so if you struggle with any other kind of energy drinks, maybe they're a bit too much for you, it's low sugar and it is based off tea. So it is quite easy to drink, and you won't get the shakes or anything like that. You'll be alright, as John always tells me he gets the shakes from the energy drinks. But this tea-based one, definitely a little bit different. Just kind of wakes you up without going overboard. So do try it out. Apart from that, though, Jonathan, unfortunately for us, that is it for tonight. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow for the upper bracket final and the lower bracket round of 3 like we talked about. Do you have anything else you want to say to the viewers, John, before we do head off for the night? Anything?
Yeah, hopefully all of you've had fun. Only a few days left in the Pro Series, so tune in for those big games. And also, if you want to give us some feedback, do let us know. We're usually reachable. Sometimes we check chat. It's a bit fast. You can reach out to us on Twitter at johnxfire, at MLP to let us know. And, of course, try to give our sponsors a follow at loot_bet and at Matemate brand, I believe is the Matemate one. So if you're interested, follow them. I know Matemate actually does have a lot of stuff on their Twitter. They seem to be really keen on launching their brand. So check it out if you want more of their drinks.
Yeah.
But that's it for us today, Mike.
Absolutely. With that, it is MLPDotA and johnxfire, and we'll see you all again tomorrow night. And before we do leave, be sure to enjoy the major, and of course, we'll get a bit of bias, John, but we'll be rooting for TNC tonight. We'll see you all in the chat, I suppose. See you then.